Alright, people, gather round. We gotta get talking. There's a bunch of new DreamWorks films we gotta talk about today. Obviously, we have the most anticipated DreamWorks movie of the year, Trolls Band Together. Can't forget about Kung Fu Panda 4. And also maybe even Shrek 5. And how about Puss in Boots 3? Thank you. You're so kind. Excuse me, Mr. DreamWorks, sir? What about Dogman and Captain Underpants 2? Oh yes, Dogman, Captain Underpants. It's been well into development. We've who am I kidding? So y'all remember when Dogman had an announcement that it was getting a movie being made by DreamWorks? What was it, like 3 years ago? And we haven't heard anything about it since. And the same goes for Captain Underpants 2. I mean, the blueprint was already there after the first movie ended, and it's been complete radio silence ever since we've gotten those announcements. So it's starting to come to me like, are these films still in development hell, or they just magically disappeared out of thin air? Because it's been a while now, and we should at least have some news on at least one of them. Especially Captain Underpants. That movie came out 6 years ago, and that's really hard to say how time flies like that. But today we gotta talk about these two movies, because there's a lot of hype people that I've seen in my comment section for this movie, and I feel like it needs to be brought to light again, because it seems like almost nobody's talking about it anymore. So I just want to talk about it today. Like, what happened to it? Did DreamWorks just forget about the movie's existence and put everything else on the back burner? Because I'm like, this movie should have come out by now. I don't think these types of movies take too long. Kung Fu Panda 4 started production after 2020, and we're getting it this year. So it makes no sense for why that's happening. So let's talk about today. What happened to Captain Underpants 2 and also the Dogman movie? Now, there's the first option is that, well, technically there hasn't been an official confirmation of a Captain Underpants 2. Captain Underpants released all the way back in 2017. It did fairly well with its $38 million budget, but after that we just didn't hear about it ever again. At the end of the movie, it had a pretty clear outline of what the movie could be. Obviously, Professor Poopy Pants escaped, he's not in jail, and obviously plots from other books are definitely coming into the fray of the movie, and the end scene really gives an outline for a sequel. And from what critics have said, the movie was very enjoyable. Most potty-humored movies like this do not get the good end of the stick, but it was a pretty good faithful adaptation of the book, so who could complain about it? And plus, it's just a banger of the movie. I mean, come on now. The theme song, it's still a banger to this day. And I feel like the movie the movie got a show. So that clearly shows that, DreamWorks had faith in it, but the show itself was, not good. And I feel like after the show ended, that's when we didn't hear about anything. And honestly, they really did promote the hell out of that DreamWorks show for Captain Underpants. It was almost everywhere on Netflix. It was in the top 10 every time a new season dropped, so it was almost like they had a goldmine of movies and ideas for this franchise, and then it just disappeared. And then magically, Dogman showed up. And that movie was also said to be in development at DreamWorks, and we haven't heard anything since. So there's a few options for why first Captain Underpants 2 has been so radio silent. Number one, it should just be up to Dave Pilkey. Maybe he hasn't approved it yet. Maybe he just wants to hold off on it for now. I mean, it really is up to him. I mean, the bad guys literally magically showed up out of nowhere. And the crazy part about that is that the bad guys are also going to be in that new DreamWorks game that's coming out later this year. So obviously the author of that book approved for them to be in the game. And now the real point is that if Captain Underpants is not in that game, that's a pretty good indicator if Dave Pilkey is still close with DreamWorks or not. Because the movie did well. It's not like it was a bomb, but it could have done a little better. DreamWorks still seems to have a pattern of placing their movies on the worst release dates. The same day Captain Underpants came out, Wonder Woman, and I'm pretty sure a Transformer movie came out that same week. That is horrible placement. At least it was able to survive with 168 million. So at least that movie was fine. And then with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the same week, Avatar: The Way of Water comes out, which is now like the top 3 highest grossing movies of all time. I have no idea what DreamWorks were thinking, but thankfully the word of mouth definitely carried the movie back to greatness with like $468 million, which is definitely a success in my book, and it really is, though. And obviously now, with Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, first of all, placed in a horrible month, and secondly, placed on the same day the conclusion that Indiana Jones comes out. It's like they choose the most horrible release dates, but then when it comes to their big blockbuster franchises like Trolls Band Together, they kind of stay away from the Marvel movies and just keep to their own. I don't think there's anything really coming out November 17th, that's when the movie's supposed to drop. There's nothing really going on that date. So it's like they're keeping Boss Baby and Trolls safe, but when it comes to their originals or maybe franchises that are not as popular, throw them in the garbage bin. It's like Universal. I don't know who's in charge of placing the release dates. It could be Universal, I don't know. They've been under Universal for a few years now. DreamWorks used to be bouncing from 20th Century Fox to a bunch of other companies, but I don't know why they keep doing this. You can't blame Captain Underpants only making $100 million due to its appeal. I mean, alright, maybe it's a little tough to say, hey, Mom, Dad, can we go see Captain Underpants, the first epic movie? Okay, if I was a parent, I would have said, hell yes, let's go. But some people might have held off from it because, you know, it's a difficult movie. And that's why DreamWorks maybe had more faith in a movie, you know, Dogman. And I honestly haven't read that many of the Dogman books. I'm more of a Captain Underpants person. But I know it has a very large fan base, and I've read through some of the books. They're pretty good books, and there is source material for a movie. But it's been so silent. Even after Captain Underpants got announced, we got updates after a few years. So we haven't heard anything. We haven't heard if George and Harold are returning. We haven't heard if it's gonna still keep the same animation style as the previous Captain Underpants movie. I don't think it will. It probably will be something different. But we haven't heard anything. And it comes to me that, is it just Dave Pilkey? He's still working on more books, and there's another book that's set to release next year. So I'm like, how much source material do you need for one movie? It's not like it's gonna be 3 hours like the FNAF movie. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of books you can make a feature-length film about. So it comes to me like, is it DreamWorks? Is it Dave Pilkey? Is it Universal? I don't know why these films are just pulled. It's really weird to me, and I feel like Dogman should still come out. I mean, the book series is still very popular. It's always a bestseller in libraries when a new book drops. And Captain Underpants still has a very wide appeal, so a movie like that still could do well. But, you know, when it comes to me, I think that the Captain Underpants appeal may have hurt it. And with Dogman, I think they're just waiting for Dave Pilkey to give an approval. Because I feel like DreamWorks has been setting out on getting these movies done pretty quickly. Like I said, Kung Fu Panda 4 started production after 2020. So it's really up to whoever the higher-ups are or Dave Pilkey. And there's someone else I do want to give their own thoughts on why this may be happening. And he's the Captain Underpants expert. And also with Dogman too. We have Crazy Gamer Inc., and I want to give his thoughts of what he may think of what's going on here. Take it away.
Hey gamers, Damon here from the hit YouTube channel Crazy Gamer Inc., everybody's favorite Captain Underpants fan. And ooh, that Dogman movie, what an interesting topic. I mean, DreamWorks' relationship with Captain Underpants is already pretty whack. I mean, the movie did moderately well on the small budget, but they only cared about the Boss Baby. I mean, the show came out, but that was and DreamWorks rather make the millionth Trolls movie than ever considering a Captain Underpants 2.
My gym shorts smell like doodle, okay?
Even though the outline is right here, like come on, we were right there, man! Oh my god, sorry. I didn't mean to get political. I'm a little bit scared that the Dogman movie's in development hell. It's been 3 years since the initial announcement, and we've had nothing since. But hey, Dad Pilkey's involved, and we know how well that worked last time. I wonder if the movie will have a more Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots inspired art style. Like, I hope they take advantage of the fact that Dogman is a comic by George and Harold. I don't know. We just gotta let them cook. I'm just curious on who's gonna voice Dogman. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, Chevy Sevy. I appreciate you. I see this as a new opportunity. Anyways, please sub to my YouTube. I do really cool stuff. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Crazy Gamer Inc. He has some banger videos, so go check him out down below. But watch this first, don't go to him immediately. But like I was saying, I feel like, is the Dogman movie cancelled? No. Is it in development hell? Probably. We haven't heard anything in the last 3 years, not even a casting announcement or a director or anything like that. And then in conclusion, it really is either one or the other. Either DreamWorks is just putting on a hold for a second, or it's just Dave Pilkey is the person that's pulling the brakes on these films, like Captain Underpants 2 and Dogman. It's really all up to him. I mean, it's his property, so we'll just have to wait. I mean, Dogman is gonna keep getting countless sequels. I don't know what Dave Pilkey is trying to build here, but it seems like here that Captain Underpants 2 is still up in the air. Will it see the light of day? I'm pretty hopeful for it, and I feel like if the Dogman movie is really successful, I feel like they'll give Captain Underpants another try, because there are so many stories to be told in that universe that I just can't see it being thrown away, and the only thing we get from the franchise is one banger movie and one pretty mid-show. And I feel like we probably won't get this Dogman movie, unfortunately. If we don't get any news by the end of this year, I don't expect it to come out till like 2025, unfortunately, which is crazy that it would mean it would take almost 6 or 5 years to come out, which is insane, and it would also be around the same time as Captain Underpants, the epic movie almost turning 10, which is insane. But I really am hopeful for both of these projects. I know you guys have been really looking forward to them, and I'm really eager to see how both of these movies turn out. Initially, Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, was like my all-time favorite DreamWorks movie. It's still up there, but I still love this movie till this day. And I really hope it gets shown in the light again. But what do you guys think? Why do you think Captain Underpants 2 and also the Dogman movie have just been radio silent these past few years? Do you think it's been canceled? Do you think it's Dave Pilkey just holding off for now? Or do you think it's up to the DreamWorks higher-ups that might not have faith in the movie anymore? What did you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out.